All right, should we begin? How's everyone doing? It'd be really useful if you could tell me how many people are actually in the chat. So say hello if you're there. Otherwise, it's just a dude talking to himself in his living room. All right, hey Rob. Hey, Isabella. We'll just give it another minute or two just to see if anyone else wants to join. And we'll begin with some questions. How you doing, Rob? How's things? Hey, Christian, Lord Billings, hello, how you doing? Has everyone got nice weather? Hey, Brian, how you doing? Nice you guys to join me. Good to see you all. You all well? No one's sick? Did anyone have any questions for me that you want me to start with? Because I have a few that I can answer. Oh, thanks, Rob. You're welcome. I hope they're useful. The interview with Andrew was great. He was a really nice guy, just accessible, such a great process. And I'd love to talk to him again, but I haven't had the chance yet. Good, Brian, good. Keep everyone home and safe, good. Hey, Bass Boy, nice to see you. Did you find any more information about Duff? I know you've been at it more than I have. Good. I'm just waiting for one guy who asked me a question who doesn't seem to be here yet because I wanted to answer his question directly. So Thrash, welcome. Hey, Tyler. All right. I think 2.5 minutes is enough to wait. Let's begin. Newstead. I've already done Newstead. Or do you mean Newstead as the band that he's doing now? Hey, Anna Kitty, how you doing? All right, let's start with probably the most popular question. When will you be doing X? The more requests I get for that bass player, the quicker that it will appear on the channel. So at the moment, someone like Doug, I was asked for Fieldys from Korn, and other people, they're quite low down the list. So if you guys want to see them, I need to hear about it. I need more people to tell me they want to see it. Because at the moment, there are other players that have been requested that are way higher up the list. And I'm just going to do what people want. So if only a couple of people want to see Fieldys, I got to put my time in the right place, you know? Good, nice to hear you in Sardinia, Rob. God, it'd be good luck to get a flight. The bass at the Aerodyne, let's see, in terms of sound. Yeah, this is the Aerodyne right here. I like it. I'm going to plan to do a review on it at some point in the future. But just as a quick overview, it's really light, it's really fast, it's very snappy and twangy. I do like it, but as a preference, I wish it had an active pickup. The output is just too quiet for my preference. But I would recommend it. Definitely for like Guns N' Roses stuff, which I know you like, Bass Boy. So definitely give it a try. Paul Gray's a good suggestion, Tyler. And again, I need more people to ask for Paul Gray. I think only 3 or 4 people have asked for him. So tell your friends to spam me. You want to see Paul Gray. Thanks, Trevor. Thanks very much for celebrating the 20K with me. That's nice. Oh, the gig situation in London. Man, I used to work as a live engineer in London. And let me tell you, around 2009, all the venues started closing down. I lost my work and there was just nothing else to do. So the gig circuit, you know, we lost 12 Bar, the Astoria, the Mean Fiddler. Terrible, really dire. And it was really hard to find anywhere to play. It's a shame. So let's start with a few questions. There was a guy who asked me in the comments yesterday, Sonic Jane Stooge, and he asked me, Sting is an underrated bass player, agree or disagree? I had to be completely honest. I haven't really listened to Sting, and so I can only go on what I've seen on media of him. I feel like people forget he's a bass player. They more really see him as a singer. And in that regards, I feel like the bass player is underlooked. So yeah, I don't think he's, where's it gone? I think he is underrated in that respect. But what I do here, I like. So we'll stick with that. Thank you, Bass Boy Jay. What amp do I use? I use a Gallien-Kruger 1x10 combo, which is pretty standard. All right, let's start with another question. So a couple of people have asked me in the past, how did I create this channel? And why did I create this channel? Well, in the past, I've done different things like photography, Photoshop editing, music creation and recording and production, and website development. So I've done all of these creative things, but I found I never really stepped into filming. So I thought, why don't I try a new project where I make a video and just see what the reaction would be like. So the first video was the Steve Harris one in 2017. And, you know, watching it now, it's a pretty futile attempt, but it is what it is. And I learned a lot from it. And that's the whole point of what I'm getting at here, that with these videos, my goal isn't to just make a video. That's nice. And if it works, great. But for me, it's what can I take away from that process? So it doesn't matter how the video does, what can I learn? And every video that I've done, I've learned something different. And it doesn't have to be about basses or bass players. It could be like, I learned how to research better. I learned how to edit videos. I learned how to use Photoshop better. So all of these little incremental goals have helped me learn and branch out as a person. And thankfully, you guys actually enjoy the videos. So there's plenty more for me to do. And again, more learning. So I'm very happy. Hulk Hogan plays bass. I need pics or it didn't happen. I have not been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. No, I'd love to. That'd be really cool. There's a lot of stuff in there I want to see. What was in there? Was it Cliff Burton's basses in there? Was in there? Stuff like that. The new Stingray special, I'd love to try it. I really like the look of the burnt maple. Is it burnt maple? The new one. That looked great. I do like that. The thing with Stingrays, I actually tried a Stingray many years ago when I bought my Lakeland, and I felt like it wasn't very comfortable. I didn't like the positioning of the humbucker. I thought it was really awkward, and it hurt. I didn't like it, and which was really annoying because I roasted maple. Thank you, Bass Boy. It was annoying because I wanted a Stingray for years. I wanted a navy blue Stingray, but I just didn't like the pickup position, and I think the action was too low for my preference. And I was only like 15 or 16 at the time, so I didn't really know what I was doing. And then as a result, the guy in the store gave me he passed over the Lakeland and said, try this. And it sounded like the Stingray. Has the same attack and EQ qualities as a Stingray. So I just took that and the pickups felt better. And I think instinctively the action was much higher. And I apparently like that. I haven't touched it since, and all the time I've had it. So I'd like to try the new Stingrays and see what I can do with it. But I do remember at the time, it felt a little bit like a one-trick pony. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, that's like 15 years ago. So it might have changed by now. But the new ones, they look amazing. And so do the Stingray guitars. I like those. I can't remember what they're called now. But the new guitars they brought out, I like the look of them as well. A 4-string guitar. Yes, I thought Cliff Burton's Rickenbacker was in there. That's cool. What color is it, Tyler? Is it 3-band or 2-band? Hey, Thomas, how you doing? Thanks, Zen. Thanks very much for coming and celebrating. That's all right. Thank you for joining in, man. It's good to see you. The strings I use, I sort of dip between the Roto Sound swing bass set or the, what are they called? The green Ernie Ball ones. I can't remember, the heavy ones, the 50s. I like them. I was testing out different things. So like on the Aerodyne here, they're strung up rotor sound and they sound great because that's what Duff uses. And that's like, I want to sound like Duff, I'll give that a try. And on the Lakeland, they have the 50s from, who was it? Is it, I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, they're a lot heavier and I like them. I think I want to try lighter strings on my Lakeland. There was that Rick Beato video that went through string gauges. I don't know if you guys have seen that. And they all instinctively liked the lighter strings on their guitar. So I think that's food for thought that you guys should try lighter strings. Because famously, Cliff Burton used lighter strings. And, you know, there's solos, so it's well worth a try for sure. Free band 18 volt. Awesome ebony fretboard. That sounds amazing, Tyler. I'd like an ebony guitar. I think that's sweet. An 18 volt, do you find that has any difference? Because I'm only used to 9 volt. And it's my understanding that if you have 18 volts, it would be harder to not distort the signal, but I don't know. I failed electronics at school, so it's a bit beyond me. My dream bass is I'd love to try a Modulus Funk. I really like them. The one like Flea. So Flea's old Modulus bass. I just heard a review of them and I thought, that's the sound. That's the sound that I want. And I haven't tried them yet, but I'd love to. And I don't know if there's any hanging around in the UK, but I'd love to try them. And the other bass, there's only 2 I want because I'm really happy with my Lakeland. The second one would be Bass Boy J would like this. A Fender Jazz bass special from the year of my birth. I'd love that. I just love that as a relic from that era. And just have that on my wall or something. Rick Beato. Beato or Beato? I always mess up pronunciations. You guys know that. Flat wounds on the jazz bass, dude. I think that would drive me mad. I haven't been watching Guy Pratt. No, Brian. I haven't tried the Dario tape wounds. Ibanez basses. I had my Ibanez 5-string, and I bought it sort of like an instinctive purchase because I was joining a metal band and I needed a 5-string bass. And I was just like, it looks good, that'll do. And I remember driving there. It took me about 3 hours to drive to South London to Twickenham because traffic is awful. I went there and they were closing up. And he didn't even let me plug it in. He's like, oh, here's the Ibanez 305. What'd you think? I was like, yeah, sounds good. Can I plug it in? No, we're closing. So, okay, well, I'll take it. Anyway, long story short, I took it to the new band. It has a 3-band active EQ, which, as you know, I love my 3-band active EQ. I like it. It's really heavy. It has a good tone, but I feel like there could be more done to it. And I don't know whether that means better pickups, better strings, a better amp. I think they're good quality, but I wish it sounded like my Lakeland. Thank you, PK. Thanks for joining me here. Man, I need to try those 18-volt basses. Definitely. I'm just trying to catch up with some of these messages here. Izza, where did that message go? From Trevor. Oh, there it is. The biggest pain in the ass to research. I think the hardest video to research might have been Cliff Burton. I think Cliff or Geddy Lee, because with Geddy Lee, there's like 30 years of history there. And I was very lucky that one site in particular had every tour program on his site. And in the tour program for every year was all of his gear. So it was very easy to just like take all of that equipment. I had so much information. I was thinking about doing one for Alex Lifesing, but yeah, just with like just getting everything ready, it just would have been like another few months. I just wanted to get a Geddy Lee video done. And it would have been weird to just put Alex Lifesing on the channel for no reason. But with Cliff Burton, everybody has so many opinions on Cliff, and everybody's, I don't know, everyone has their own opinion and worship him in a different way. It felt like treading into a sacred temple and you don't want to mess it up. But I feel like I'd done a good attempt at it. And, you know, I looked at his biography and looked at some very old news articles. And interviews, so there was a good help there. I think the only mistake for the Cliff Burton one was the Mesa Boogie amp towards the end of his career, and that was James Hetfield's amplifier. So that was like the only major mistake. But I was happy to learn about his secret weapon, the split coil pickup underneath his bridge. So I feel like just to get some confirmation on that, that's my contribution to the Cliff Burton series. The Hartkey 3500. I'm just reading this message from Trevor. The Hartkey 3500. Yeah, I mean, luckily, Hartkey got back to me and they told me. I can't remember why I asked them. It was like, what day did this come out or something? And they were really helpful. And it's really annoying. This is like a bugbear of mine. All of these companies have their Twitter accounts online. And you think, I'll just approach them and ask them a question about their product and hopefully they get back to me. No one ever does. No one bothers. No one cares. So like I'm asking, when did this come out? What's this model? I've never heard of it. They ignore me completely. But the only ones that have been good about that was GK, not GK, but the guys who make the boomer strings. I can't remember what they're called. They got back to me about something. Hartkey got back to me. Everyone else just ignored me. So what's the point of having a customer facing channel when you don't even bother to talk to people? So annoying. Alex Webster would be good. He's quite high on the list. So I think he's like 3rd or 4th, someone on that. That'd be cool. I cannot play the bass behind me because I have no amplifier. Pino Palladino. I don't even know who that is. Is that bad of me? GHS Boomers. Thanks, Andrew. That's the one. GHS got back to me. Yes. Thanks, Rap Snake. Glad you liked that video. Andy Rourke has been requested a lot. So, yep, that'll be coming up at some point. Yeah, boomers are good. I haven't tried them, but because of that interaction, I'm more likely to try them in the future. Yes, Bad Pino is a legend. That's my fault. My musical taste, right? It won't be hard to believe this. Are terrible. I have a really bad musical taste. It hasn't changed in like 15 years. It's ridiculous. All of those guys are on the list, Andrew. Probably like the first third, which is cool. Let's see. Another question I had in the past was, which video did I enjoy making the most? And for me, I think that was Lemmy. Lemmy was so entertaining. His biography, if you haven't read it, is hilarious. He's just a great writer, and he has, you probably know already, he has such a clever wit. It's just difficult to not watch him and to see what he says next because he freaks people out. So his biography was totally worth a read. And just learning about him and Motorhead, I've got a couple of books on Motorhead. They were all entertaining. And he's just a fun guy to watch and learn from. And I think people get the wrong side of the stick with him. And for me, editing it as well was great because it was a lot of fun. And there's quite a lot of jokes in there. You can tell I made them for me. I made the jokes in there to make myself laugh. And I did. I watched it a couple of weeks ago just to remind myself what it was like, and I'm laughing out loud at my own jokes, which is sad. King Crimson's Tony Levin. Yes, he is high on the list. He'll be there someday, for sure. Hey, Pavel, nice to see you. All of those guys are on the list. I think you asked me before. Yes, somewhere. That's the thing. It used to be really quick to make a video. It was only about 4 weeks. But then as each video came out, I realized it needed to be so much more in depth. And that really started coming about with Duff. You can see me starting to use web articles and quotes from articles and actually get confirmation, which is really important. I find that, I want to be an authoritative figure to know what I'm talking about. So I need to read the literature. You can't just guess. So every video has like hours and hours of research. I think the David Ellison video, there were 2 of them. They took 120 hours. That was reading 2 books. No exaggeration. I watched every Megadeth video on YouTube, every live video, just to see if a bass would change and just to know what bass he'd use on which song, just to make sure the information was correct. So there's a lot of time that goes into those videos to make sure the information is accurate. And everything I say is backed up by buy the video. You know, my script is just full of footnotes. And I think, funny enough, the shortest video was Justin Chancellor and Peter Steele, which is like 70 hours. So it's still a long time. But, you know, I want to make sure I've got everything right. I think that's difficult when it's like painting, when you paint a painting or record a song. When do you know it's finished? When do you know your research is done? So it's very difficult to get to that point and feel like you can contribute without repeating what other people have said, which is annoying. Would I consider including a female bassist? Yeah, why not? There's nothing wrong with female bass players. Just people aren't requesting them. I have a couple, but they're not high in the list. So, you know, you guys have got to ask more for these people. Bootsy Collins would be interesting. Yes. Troy Sanders, definitely. All of these guys are high up in the list. If I could play one Fender bass, which one would it be? I think, I haven't tried them all though, Bass Boy, so it's going to be a little bit of an undecided answer. I do like the Aerodyne. That's a cool bass. And I'd like to try a Mustang. I don't know what that's like, because I like the combo of the humbucker and the single coil. That works for me. I don't like one or the other. Jazz basses are okay, but I feel like they're a bit of a one-trick pony, and they only work for a specific song. And with Fender basses, like I said earlier, I feel like they don't have a high enough output for me. And it might just be the bass, but put an active EQ on there and I'll be happy. Any signature bass, whose would you want? That's a good question. I'd like to try Dave Ellison's Jackson. I haven't tried a Jackson bass. And probably Duff McKagan's and Geezer Butler's. Geezer Butler's Lakeland, definitely. For sure. Bass cover, Iron Maiden. My bass playing is subpar at best. I don't spend as much time as I like to on bass. There are so many other bass players out there. I'll let them deal with covers. I won't be bringing anything to the table in that regard. The Appetite for Destruction sound is probably my favorite time. And coincidentally, my favorite gig of all time was Steven Adler when he was touring as Adler's Appetite, and he performed on drums. He was the original drummer for Guns N' Roses. He performed with a band, the whole set for Appetite for Destruction, and it was amazing. It's so good. Such a good night. My number one choice of bass to go to everything, my Lakeland, for sure. My Lakeland 4401. I feel like I can get every tone out of that. If you haven't tried one or heard it, the bridge pickup sounds like a Stingray. So you can have a really thumpy, slappy Stingray sound. It's a bit like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then the bridge pickup, the neck pickup sounds like a Precision. So I feel like there's a really good overlap between what tones you can get. Matt Sharp of Weezer. Do you know what? I don't think anyone's asked for him. No, I don't. I'm going to have to put that down. I'll write that down after the stream. Did someone say something about Epiphone? Let's have a look, because that sounded interesting. Opinion on Gibson and Epiphone. I've tried a couple of Epiphones. What did I try? I think like, not an SG, but something like an SG type. They're okay, but I feel like I'm sure I'm not the only one. I feel a bit snooty when I play an Epiphone. It's a bit like a Squire. Even then, I said it like with a grimace, like Squire. I don't know. I haven't tried them well enough. From what I hear, they're very good build qualities for a good price. And I've actually been watching a lot of Matt Heafy's videos, and his new signature guitars are all Epiphone, which surprised me because like he could get any endorsement he wants. And for some reason, he went to Epiphone, and he even said in his videos like, "My dad wanted me to play a Gibson," which he does, but he has an Epiphone instead, as it has his custom SIG, which I thought was very strange. So there might be something in there about the Epiphone. So don't dismiss them at first instance, for sure. The same with like Squire. I'm still doing it, Squire basses. I just feel like they're cheap, and I don't know. I need to get out more and try more basses, I think. Epiphone EBO. It might have been an Epiphone EBO. Yes, the Japanese Squires are good. I think a lot of the 80s overseas basses are good. From what I hear, I mean, I haven't tried any. I've got some other questions here. What bass did you really buy? We've been over that. And do I play in a band? No, I don't play in a band. I used to. I played in a couple of bands a long time ago. The first one was a punk rock band. It was a little bit like Sum 41, but with English punk, because all of the guys were from East London, so they're all punk boys. But we all had a shared love of like American pop rock. That was a good band. The singer left. That was the end of that. And then I went into like a proper English punk band, which is not really my taste in music, but I went anyway because it was with the same band members, just a different singer. And that was okay for a while. And then I thought, we're playing gigs and rehearsing every week, and we had like 4 people watching us. I just thought, this is just a waste of time. And I'm not really getting much out of it. I'm doing all this traveling back and forth, and no one's really paying attention. So I left that. Joined a death metal, black metal band. That was fun, but that was the weirdest situation I've been in, where the musicians, the guitarist, no exaggeration, has been the most gifted guitarist I've ever witnessed. He was amazing, such a brilliant songwriter, and he was Japanese, but he couldn't speak English very well. So like, you try and have like some fraternal chat and banter, and there's just nothing really going on. No lights on at home. And it was fun, but there was no fraternal links in that band. And I really just felt like it was a job. You come in on a Sunday, do the rehearsal, go home. And we didn't speak to each other outside the band. It was just, again, annoying. I didn't get anything out of it. So as of now, no bands. And it's a bit of a tangent, but I kind of feel like, for me, where I am right now, I wouldn't get much out of a band. It'd just be a money sink and a time sink. So I feel like I could just focus my efforts elsewhere, where I know I'll improve as a person and my skills. BC Rich basses. Yeah, I'd love to try a BC Rich bass. Actually, one of the first basses I ever wanted was a Mockingbird, which Pablo from Trivium had. I was like, dude, I need that Mockingbird. They look amazing. And the Eagles as well. If you could go back in time to see any concert, who would you see? Do you know what? Pink Floyd is great. I know someone who would love to see Pink Floyd. I would love to see The Doors, and probably Metallica in their prime, so like Justice Album, and Pantera in their prime. I'd love to see any of those 3 for sure. Opinions on Darkglass. This is very dismissive. I find him overrated. I don't know whether that's like, if you guys are on the same side or not, but I don't understand the love of Darkglass. I don't get it. It's not a sound for me. It's in that spectrum. I don't want to call it noise, but very high-end white noise, and I don't like it. I want overdrive. I don't want some nasty, gnarly distortion. What do you guys think of Darkglass? Do you have any of their pedals? Any other amps? Do you know what? Speaking of Darkglass, this relates to another question. I was asked, is there any channel I'd love to collaborate with? And I was looking at my channel analytics the other day, and the bass channel popped up that they subscribed, and I watch them guys all the time. So I was like, wow, okay, cool. That's awesome. And I would love to collaborate with the bass channel. I think those guys, they've got a really good format. They know what they're doing. They have really good content. And I just think, like, I guess we're on a similar level. So if they're out there, thanks for the sub. And, you know, hit me up when we do something, definitely. Would I ever consider a video on Adam Nolly Gets Good from Periphery? Is it weird of me to say I don't know who they are? Animal. Oh, is that the dude? I keep forgetting their names. I need to watch it. Is that the dude who done the Metallica playthrough recently? The guy who done the Pantera cover. If you haven't seen that Pantera cover, it's amazing. I wish I could play like that. Ridiculous. Let's have a look at other questions. The bass channel, definitely. I don't think I'm exaggerating. I watched probably 3/4 of their videos. New video, watch it. And I think they've done a video on the soul food pedal. I want that pedal. And after this whole quarantine thing, I'm going to try it because that's the tone that I want. Soul Food, I think it's by Electro Harmonics. Give that a listen. It's like a classic soul-typed overdrive. It's brilliant. What do I think of Fieldys' clicking tone? I don't mind it. I mean, I got nothing against Korn. I don't instinctively listen to them, but if they're on, I listen. I think him and Korn have set their own niche, which is great. Get in where you fit in, and clicking, especially the double bass as well. That just works together, and I can see why people like that. It's just an aspect of metal we haven't heard much before. So definitely, I like it for what it is, but I don't like playing it. That's not the tone that I enjoy. Thoughts on Rickenbacker basses? I know you guys give me a lot of flack for Rickenbacker. Do I have to say it the American way? Rickenbacker. It's a Rickenbacker for me. I love Rickenbackers. I would love to have had one. They're like £2,000 or something. Classic tone. And I think I would enjoy the pickups on them. I remember Lemmy saying that he didn't enjoy them. They weren't loud enough, but we all know Lemmy, loudness. Have I seen Josh play Through the Fire and the Flames? No, I haven't, actually. I can imagine that'd be sick, so I'll be doing that after the stream. Thoughts on Thundercat? I need to do a video on Thundercat. A lot of people are asking about that. The bass soul food is so good. Definitely. Like I said, I need to get that. My favorite bands, I think I have 3. I'll squeeze in a 4th. My 3 favorite bands. Number 1, I feel like I have to say it now. Number 1 is The Offspring. That's my favorite band. They are the band that got me into playing music. And I sort of fell out with them a little bit, just because I need to be in the right mood to listen to their music. Then Metallica. And again, I've sort of fell out with them because, again, need to be in the right mood. But I saw them last year, and they seemed tired. I just said, James was tired. I don't know how many dates he's done at that point. They were tired. Good show, but you can see the cracks starting to show. And more recently, CKY. CKY is probably my ultimate favorite band. I just love CKY. I can listen to them at any time of day, any time of the year. CKY all the way, for sure. And I'll throw in a final one, Black Sabbath. For me, they're probably the most influential band for my playing. When I first heard Geezer Butler, I think the first song I heard was Paranoid and then NIB. I was like, what is this? And so yeah, Black Sabbath as well. Talk about Steve Harris. I can talk about Steve Harris. If you guys have watched that Steve Harris video recently and compared it to my new videos, you'll know there's quite a leap in quality, right? I have thought about doing an updated version of Steve Harris because, let's face it, it's incomplete, right? There are things missing. I made that video 2 or 3 years ago where I didn't know what I was doing. I just sort of like saw pictures. I Googled Steve Harris pictures and thought, oh, he used that and he used that. But now I know what I'm doing research-wise. I know where to look. So I would love to redo the Steve Harris video. And unfortunately, I really missed my opportunity where I heard Tech 21 were releasing the new Steve Harris signature pedal. And I thought, great, this is a perfect time to redo Steve Harris. But I was working on something else at the time, and I just didn't manage to get up to it. And one day, but it's kind of like I compare this to watching films or something. I always say to my fiance, do you want to watch Breaking Bad again? She goes, no, we've already watched it. Why don't we watch it again? There's new films to watch or new TV shows. I'm like, yeah, I guess we could spend the time watching new stuff. And that's kind of how I feel about the Steve Harris video, where it is what it is. I shouldn't really go back and change it because that's what it is, which is annoying. But on Steve Harris generally, rather than myself, yeah, he's awesome. I saw Iron Maiden again last year. Just phenomenal. How he has the same energy he's had all through his life and career is just ridiculous. I wish I had that much energy. Thoughts on the Aria II Pro basses? I love them. I think they're a good sound. I just need to double check. So I got so confused on Aria basses because you read about Cliff Burton, and there's just so many different Arias: the Aria 1, the 2, the Pro, the Tribute, which has features. So confusing. Yes, the Aria Pro 2. I like them. I think they're really good, and I'd love to try one for sure. There's a very definitive sound about them that comes from their time frame, which is cool. I love that. Thank you, TJ. Thank you for watching the Rodney videos with me. Rodney was great to work with. You know, he really knows his stuff. So if you haven't watched the Rodney videos, listen to him. He's putting out so much more content these days, and listen to what he says. He's just, I really enjoy talking to him. He's a great guy to listen and, you know, experience music world from. Let's see. Opinion on orange amps. Haven't tried them, but I can give you like a bit of a hint at something. I'm working on a video for Ghost, and Ghost use orange amps, and that's all I have to say. Ghost and orange. That's what they sound like. So yeah, orange amps, good. What else we got here? Oh, Little Richard. You're kidding me. God. I heard 2 other musicians died as well today. Oh man, not Little Richard. I can't, not massive bands that I remember. Oh, like my parents' sort of bands. Damn, that sucks. I'm a guitar player and the world's second shittiest bass player. I'll probably be the first then in that case. Born Ibanez sound gear. What's that? Ibanez sound gear. Oh, just an amp. 4-string. Oh, the beginner pack. Cool. And good. Nice to have another bass player. Is nu metal the best genre? The answer is obviously yes. I need to know why that's the case. I would disagree. I would say it's nostalgic, but I disagree. My favorite bassist, I think, I've had a couple. I think my favorite would be probably Geezer Butler. And again, just when you start playing an instrument, you feel like there are foundations you build upon. And for me, there was Steve Harris. And then once I got to Geezer Butler, I felt a tone and a play style that was comfortable with me. So like just the way, like just to play NIB, that riff, if you don't know how to play that riff and not enjoy it, dude, you're missing out. Davey, I do like his videos. You can't fault his talent. He has magnificent talent. And I remember his the Lego bass, that was weird, but definitely definitely entertaining for sure. Definitely give him a watch if you haven't seen him already. Do I know who John Deacon is? Yes, I do. I'm going to embarrass myself. Is he from Queen? Yeah. Yes, he's the bassist from Queen. I knew that. You don't have to test me. Hoffner basses. Lemmy played them. He played the guitars. Hoffner basses. A classic tone. I don't like the old tones personally. There's nothing wrong with them. They're cool. I mean, again, we're talking about foundations. They set a foundation of pop music. So Hoffner's definitely. I don't really like, some of them have they're hollow bodies. And I've never liked hollow bodies for some reason. Thoughts on Stefan Lessard? Am I going to embarrass myself again? Who's that? He hasn't been in my request list. So he is from Dave Matthews Band. I can't tell you anything about him because I don't listen to Dave Matthews Band. Sorry. Chris from the Muse. That'd be fun, but I reckon I'll be bogged down in all of his effects pedals of all his life. Fishman pickups? No, I haven't. I hear they're good, but I couldn't tell you why. So I'd like to try. There's so much stuff I want to try. And you know, just as I get into like watching reviews of bass player gear and equipment, the music shop shut down. So now I'm stuck at home watching videos. What other questions do we have here? Which band do you wish you could have been in? I think I would have enjoyed Pantera. I think that would have been fun, for sure. Just something about that time feels a bit nostalgic where, you know, we're over the hair metal bands into a bit more of the mainstream and t-shirts and jeans, right? just doing that. It's a bit more natural. Is Sting an underrated bass player? Sonic James Stooge, there you are. I took down your question and I answered it at the beginning of the stream. And the answer was, yes, I think he's underrated. And just to reiterate what I already said, I think generally the consensus is people know him as a singer rather than a bass player. So I think, yes, as a bass player, he's underrated for sure. Ever listen to Sadus? No. Like I said, my musical taste is terrible. If you have any suggestions for bands I should listen to and I'm missing out on, tell me. Because I only listen to CKY and, you know, on rare occasion, something else. Terrible appetite for music. What's my favorite color? Navy blue is my favorite color. I had a massive fascination with Reservoir Dogs, so they all had their own colors. And I was Mr. Navy Blue. Any collabs in the works? No, I finished working with Rodney, and I do need to get in touch with him. We've both been busy. But I did say to him before we parted ways that there's so many more things I'd like to talk about. So definitely one day with Rodney. And like I said, I'd like to work with the bass channel. Those guys are cool. 3 best budget guitars under 500. It depends on what you need, doesn't it? It depends on your needs. If you're playing in a metal band, it really differ. But generally speaking, I think a Squier Precision, a Squier Jazz Bass, an Ibanez, the SR models, I mean, they seem okay for under 500. I think Epiphones, I think for $500 or pounds or euros, what have you, whatever you want, I just think grab a bass and start playing. You can always change later. Doesn't matter. Bass for low tuning, a 5-string. Get a 5-string. I feel weird recommending 6 strings. They just seem like unnatural. But, you know, we have the Smooth Criminal from Alien Ant Farm. Can't go wrong with that. That's awesome. So, you know, I'm wrong about that. The AGB 200, great bass. Let's have a look at that bass. That's an interesting bass. See, like I said, I don't like cutaways. I just don't like that tone. And again, I'm not a fan of those pickups either. I don't know what you call them now. The old plate humbuckers. I've never liked them. I've always liked the normal split coil, the single coils. Since I'm on a budget and already have my amps and cables picked out, now I have found my bass. My budget for bass is $850. My choices are a Yamaha BB800, cool, a Fender Aerodyne, and the P-Bass. I think the BB800, if I remember rightly, they're from the 80s. That's what Duff played in Guns N' Roses before Appetite for Destruction. I think. I could be wrong on that, but he played one, maybe it's a 400. Anyway, the Yamaha BB series, I really want to try them. I want to add that to my list of basses I'd like. So the Modulus, the Jazz Bass Special, and the Yamaha BB series. Surprisingly, again, Matt Diaz from CKY, he had an Ibanez, no, he had a Yamaha BB 1200, I think. So, oh wow, how's he playing that? That's a weird choice for a bass. So I definitely want to give it a try. And I guess it's a bit of that, you know, you grimace at Squier, you grimace at Epiphone, and sometimes Yamaha gets a bad rap. So yeah, I'd like to try the Yamaha for sure. Aerodyne, I think that's a good bass. I think it's good, but only for the specific Guns N' Roses type P-bass tones. And P-basses generally, I don't like P-basses because they're a bit of a one-trick pony. I feel like if you wanted versatility, go with a jazz bass because at least you can kind of get to a P-bass tone. Am I a Peter Hook fan? I've nothing against him. Nothing wrong with Peter Hook. He comes on BBC documentaries now and again. It's interesting to watch. Check out Crush. I would do that. Have any other bass players reached out to you? Yes. If you haven't known, if you don't know, I tweeted Geezer Butler when the Geezer video come out. He watched it. He watched it twice and he retweeted it. He watched it in November. And then around Christmas that year, he tweeted again. And then Duff watched my videos and he said thank you. And more recently, David Ellefson has watched the last 2 videos, which I didn't even share with him. I knew it was on Twitter and Facebook, but somebody must have sent it to him. And he posted on Facebook, thanks to WhichBass. And so, hot damn, David Ellison, dude, these people know I exist. It's ridiculous. So Geezer, Duff, and David Ellison, very happy with that. The Fender behind you is a great bass. It is. If it had a preamp. Midnight Oil, I keep hearing about that, definitely. You got to show me pictures of that BB800, bass boy. I need to see that. Hey, Ashley. Somebody already asked, but your favorite Primus riff? I think John the Fisherman. That's hilarious. I love that. One day I sat down and got, right, I'm going to try this. It's like, no, forget this. This is ridiculous. I do not have the talent to even attempt it. D.D. Vernon, yes, very high on the list. What else is there? And also, you know, Les plays with fretless. I have never tried a fretless. I need to try these new Fenders in that case for sure. Let's see, is there any other questions here? We've spoken about the channel. What made me play bass? That's a good one. So when I was in school, I was about 12, something like that. And we had like the school supply catalogs. And I was just flicking through it out of curiosity. And you have like packs of pencils, packs of paper, whatever, seats, tables. And in the back was musical instruments. And there was a guitar. So like your normal starter kit, a guitar and an amp. And next to it was a bass. And I remember thinking, I want to try the bass only because it has 4 strings. That was it. And it's a very interesting time this happened, where in my school, you had your destructive kids. And there was this scheme at my school where the destructive kids would be sent out of class to talk to an adult figure, like a mentor. And they decided that they were going to send these destructive kids out on a field trip, like a day trip. And then I remember hearing there was some clapback where someone said, why are we rewarding these destructive kids with outings? Why can't the smart kids or the kids who need a bit more confidence go on these things? So somehow I was chosen to go on this trip. I wasn't disruptive. I was just like, I needed to come out of my shell a bit more. And I'm sure some of you guys can agree, go back in your shell. But anyway, I needed to come out, and I joined the naughty kids on this trip. A long story short, the scheme was basically like a big brother, little brother type thing, where an adult would be allocated to you, and they would take you out and do activities. So you go to the cinema, to a museum, have a coffee, just have someone older to talk to that wasn't your family. These big brothers and sisters, mine was a lady, she was very nice. We were allocated a budget of like £500 a year. And that money could be used for the trips and also for extracurricular activities. So I said, I want to play bass. Go, okay, we get you a bass. They bought me an £80 starter pack of a precision bass, which I still have, and 2 years worth of lessons. And so I was set, and it just come from the scheme. So like, that's how I got my bass. It's just through a school scheme. So very lucky, very grateful. 2 years worth of lessons every week. I'm very grateful for that. And it's really set me up to the point where I am. So very lucky. Like I said, the naughty kids are on it. Why they're getting rewards, I don't know. I don't know what they bought. A football kit? Boots? I don't know. Crazy. But yeah, very grateful for that. Favorite Metallica album? That's a tough one. Oh, it changes, man. It really changes. I like Master of Puppets. Ride the Lightning was probably the biggest collection of Metallica songs that got me into them. So I'm going to say like Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and the Black Album. And Justice for All. Like, it took a long time to get used to Justice for All. But, let's see. Am I a fan of Paradise Lost? No. I'm not. I just haven't listened to them. Is there any gear you really want? Dream gear, basses, and amps. I said earlier, I want a soul food bass pedal. I want that pedal. A modulus funk. What did I say? Yamaha BB bass. That'd be my dream gear. And I need a new amplifier for sure. I've had the same practice cab for 15 years. So Ampeg. I'd like to try Ampeg. Maybe a Hartkey. Something like that. What else is there? Plan on building, dude. I built one when I was 18. I went to fretless. I'll definitely need a new neck. I don't think I have the patience for building. When I was in school, I did like the woodshop classes. I sucked. I flopped so bad. There was a project to build a clock. Not build a clock, but like make something to put a clock on, a clock face. So like the guy on my table, he built like a mini bedside dresser, like a small dresser like that. And he built this all by wood and glue and nails and screws, and he built this nice dresser with a clock face on it. I just drew a fucking pattern of a stealth fighter. It's like, here you go, with a clock on it. I failed, so no, I don't think I trust myself building a bass. Hell no. Would I team up with Davey? Sure, why not? But like, I have nothing. I have no bass player value of skill to present with him. I'd just be laughed out of the room. Will I do a video on Robert DeLeo? I don't know who that is. Sorry. Put him in. Ask me in the comments, and I'll put him on the list, and I'll do some more reading. And I need to learn for sure. Thank you for making high quality and interesting videos. Thank you, Ashley. It's really great for you to be here. Thank you so much. I'm glad you play bass. You know, you need to play bass. All of you guys do. Definitely me. I saw Paradise Lost supporting Danzig. Thanks, Izza. I don't remember them. Tried much Darkglass. As I said earlier, I don't like Darkglass. The sound isn't to my liking. I think they look aesthetically great. I think they're packaged really nicely. And they cater to bass players, which is great. We need more gear for us, not just like borrowing the guitar player stuff. But the sound, not for me. Kronos from Venom, he's on the list. He'll be there one day. Metal Muff pedal. I am not a fan of muff pedals. I don't like fuzz. I'm more of an overdrive person. I mean, I think there's a time and a place for fuzz. I did see a question about CKY, which I completely missed. Favorite CKY riff? Difficult. Suddenly tragic. That riff is awesome. Love that. Frenetic amnesic. I can never say that. The IDR album. Love it. I love it all. I love it all. If you have a lesson or jam session with any famous bassist, dude, that'd be fun. I think David Ellefson for rhythm, because he has got like the strongest picking hand in metal, and probably Geezer Butler in terms of riffs. Bill Laswell, I think he's on the list. Tech 21, yeah, I do like the Tech 21 sound. I mean, it's just something familiar about them, which I like. Very cool. Random question: any thoughts on Fender Japanese jazz? I have a special and I love it, but it seems like they're unpopular. Does it matter if they're not popular? It matters what you think about it, Sam. Not Sam. Dim. That's all it matters, man. What you think about it. I hear the Japanese basses are great, and like I said, I want a Fender jazz bass special from the 80s, which is Japanese. So I want one for sure. Hey, Droid. Nice of you to join in. It's nearly been an hour, so I'll hang around a little bit longer if you guys want. If there's any more questions coming in. I sort of allocated half an hour to an hour, so we're getting there. So it's good. Thank you guys for joining me. It's really great to. I don't know if you guys have seen already. The channel has 20,000 subscribers. So thank you guys all for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. John Paul Jones, he's high up on the list for sure. He'll be there. Just in case you guys have tuned in, and I'll reiterate, if there's a bass player you want to see, I put it on a list. They will be on my list, and they have a tally. But not many people ask for who they are. So you need to ask your friends, ask your family, come and spam me and tell me you need to see this video, and I will make it. Otherwise, I just have to do whoever's the most popular. And I think that's the best way forward. Otherwise, I could do it as a short video, but it might not be as in-depth or impressive. And you should know me by now. I want to be definitive. I want to look at the evidence and say, this person used this gear, and add to the story rather than just reiterate. So if I'm going to do it, I want to do it well. A Green Rhino, I would like to try them. Are they by, I should know this, Way Huge. Yes, is that right? I think that's right. Yeah, it's in the, I should have just read the whole comment. Yeah, I want to try Way Huge. Again, I listen to their pedals and they sound too top-endy for my liking. First bass riff I ever learned, dude. Do I still remember it? Yes, I remember the moment. It was mental. I must have been, again, like 12. I was sitting on my computer and my bass lessons hadn't started yet. And somehow I must have got onto the internet and typed in, how do I read bass tab? And I had The Offspring Bad Habit. And it's just like 3 notes. Dung, dung, dung. That's it. And I'm just sitting there staring at the screen thinking, oh, this is like Battleship. It's like E3, A2, G3. Cool. And I just played that riff. Bad Habit. Dung, dung, dung. Holy shit. And just a light bulb went off in my head. And that unlocked tab for me. And yeah, I haven't forgot that moment. It's amazing. And I still play Bad Habit. I always play Offspring songs. You know, while the Offspring, the bass isn't an influence as such. I don't build upon it. It was definitely the first songs I tried. So, you know, big deal to me, big deal. John Taylor from Duran Duran is doing online showcases. Cool. Did he play the Aria II? The Aria Pro 2? That was cool. If I remember that rightly. Did I ever see Scott Devine around London? No. I don't know who that is. The only famous people I've seen, let me just make sure I got this image search. No, I haven't. No. Does he live in London? I watch him from time to time, but I haven't seen him in London. The only people I've seen in London, you guys might not know who they are, Breed 77. They are a flamenco metal band. And at their height, I don't remember what year it was now, they were walking around Camden Town. And I just like crossing the street by the station. Hey, you guys rock. I was like, cool. And there's this guy from Ozzy Osbourne's entourage, shall we say. He looks a bit like Les Claypool. He's got like a rainbow beard, coloured hair, glasses and a hat. I don't know his name, but I know he's in Ozzy's entourage. So they're the only people I've seen in London. What else we got here? Picked up the new Sketcher SLS Elite 5. Cool. I know Rodney loves Sketcher, and he's got a relationship with them. I haven't tried them. I'd love to. I mean, we were speaking about that in Metal Bass Evolution, where this is the new direction that basses are going in. So this is the new sound and equipment. That's great. And I love that we have a new direction. There's something to add to that. I'm still undecided whether or not I like that sound. I find it too modern. And someone said earlier about Korn. My own personal preference, I don't like that tone. I don't like that tone. It's not for me. So I just leave it at that. Like I said, I haven't made up my mind, but I would like to try them for sure. Matt Freeman, he's on the list, quite high up. Underrated channel. Thank you, Tyler. I wish you guys wanted me here more often to talk about questions. I'm glad you can join me. Thank you so much. The bassist from Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I think you're the first person to ask about him, Sam. So I'll put him on the list afterwards. Thank you. Have you ever listened to music anime like K-On? No. I have not. I will give them a listen. I've just lost my place. I'll follow up with another not so popular, but who cares, piece of gear. Dr. Green by Ashdown Pedals. I don't know them. Dr. Green. I have to have a look. Greg K is underrated. Now, like I said, I love The Offspring. I'm not sure about Greg K. Have you heard about the news about him? That he's suing Dexter and Noodles for something to do with song rights. Like, come on, guys, get it together. Where's my new album? I've been waiting like 5 years for a new Offspring album. Like, come on, sort it out. Ridiculous. And again, they're another band that seemed tired. You see Dexter singing. So, oh, Dexter, you've fallen so far from grace. Favorite GNR album? Appetite for Destruction. All the way. Their favorite song? Rocket Queen? Or It's So Easy? Have you tried a Sandberg? I haven't. No. Phil Liner. Yes. Phil will be good. And do you know what? I feel like I have an ace up my sleeve with Phil. The lady I used to work with, she was a sound engineer in London, and I was basically her apprentice. Her husband was the original guitarist from Thin Lizzy, so Eric Bell. So I didn't meet Eric. I ran into him during like gatherings and stuff, and he was a very stoic person. He wasn't really interested in talking to me. You met Brad Wilk. Awesome. Have you been to the bass gallery? It's down the street from my parents' house. Yes, I've been there a lot. It's literally 5 minutes away. So it's my local bass shop. I haven't been in there for a while, but when I was younger, I don't know if it's just an age thing. When you're a kid and you go into a music shop, you're like, I want to try this bass. So you rip it off the wall, like, put that down. You're going to pay for that. And that's the same treatment I got in the bass shop, where if you haven't been in there, the walkway is so tiny and you have basses all over the walls and all over the floor. You could very easily trip over narrow staircases. And like I said, I might have been a teenager last time or whatever. They were not interested in talking to me. So they might pay attention to me now that I have the money to actually buy a bass. But I did look at their website recently, and they have a couple that I want to try out, so I might swing by. Bruce Thomas from The Attractions is terribly underrated. I need to listen to him. What else we got here? I haven't heard of Carmen, Fender Jazz 62. I need to check them out. Sorry for the weird question. I think that you'd like the bass in it. Oh, okay. I'll give that a look, Andrew. Thank you. I keep losing my place in this chat window. Where we go? Bear with me. Just having a look here. Congratulations on 20,000. Thank you, Rattlesnake. I really appreciate that. I remember, I think Fender Jazz 62 is in the chat. I'm pretty sure you were like one of my first 100 subs. I remember that. I still do. And I remember when I had 20, I was like, holy shit, people like this sort of thing. And then I remember speaking to Fender J, and I remember you, dude. I remember you being there. You were there from the beginning, first 100. And I looked in the participants, and there's been a couple of you guys from 2 years ago. It's like crazy. You guys have stuck around. Mental. So thank you. My favorite song is the one I choose to listen to. Yes, it is. Why do I keep losing space at this here? I haven't listened to Glenn Benson or Tom, but they are both on the list. Are you a fan of Stuart Zender? I wouldn't say a fan. I listen to Jamiroquai if it's on the radio, but that's the English indie pop scene of funk. It's not my thing. Do you know anybody that met Phil, Brian? That's a small neighborhood. Still playing the Lakeland? Yes, always. You got a 4402. It is very heavy. Yeah. Hello from Detroit. Thank you, Fear No Evil. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, they're stupid heavy. I actually looked it up afterwards. I said in my video the Lakeland was £9. It's 10. It's 10 freaking pounds. That is mental. That's as much as an Alembic. And you heard what they did to Jason Newstead's shoulder. No, he dropped an amplifier, but he did mess up his shoulder. But he dropped an amplifier, and it tore the muscle through his arm or something. Crazy. So yeah, I'd like a lighter Lakeland. I'd like that. That'd be cool. It's been really nice to watch the channel evolve. Thank you, Baseball. I know we've been having little chats here and there about Duff, so thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate that. Why would you move from bass to guitar, Vince? That's nuts. And then guitar is like driving the stick shift. Like I said, I only chose the bass because it's 4 strings. I didn't realize there's actually a different way to play them. I play guitar, and I have a couple of guitars. I just play it for fun, but I feel like I don't have the coordination for guitar. It's more about the bass. It's more laid back. It's to my tempo. You can guess what I play on guitar, CKY. That's all I play because I like the riffs. With that said, the riffs in CKY sound like they're meant to be for bass, right? So it's kind of playing bass on guitar. Mel Shander from Great Funk Railroad. That would be good. I know a lot of guys have asked about them. Thoughts on the Thunderbird? I love them. I've always wanted a Thunderbird. Stupid price tag though. I would try it. It's weird. the thing with buying a bass, like, I don't need a new bass. It's like a new toy. And I feel like I'm comfortable where I don't need a new bass. And if I was going to, I'd have to give one up because they're just collecting dust. And I don't live in a massive house. Yeah, so Jamiroquai is often spotted around where we live. I'll take your word for that. I don't know. What's the worst band you've ever seen or heard? Nitro or Insane Clown Posse? Do you know what? I mean this sincerely and with much interest and curiosity. The Clown Posse, what are they called? The guys who paint their faces. I can't remember what they're called now. That clique, that subgenre, they are fascinating. There was a documentary on BBC a little while ago with like some Juggalo. Thank you very much, Juggalo. They are fascinating. And like I said, I don't mean it nasty. It's just an amazing lifestyle. There was this BBC documentary of like a really nerdy English guy who went to different festivals, and he went to a Juggalo festival, and it was exactly as you think it would be. And he had a great time, and they all embraced him. Juggalo, yes, the ICP are Juggalos who paint their faces and stuff. It is fascinating. You know, each to your own. Do your thing. Have fun. They look like they were having fun. For real. What's the question? Worst band? The worst band I ever seen. I've been a sound engineer, and I worked in a lot of venues, well, a handful of venues in London. Some of the screamo bands, because at the time it was all screamo, and English screamo was the worst. There was a band, I can't remember their name now. They were a bit like the Melvins, and I'm only using it as a foundation point. They wanted to be the Melvins. They all wore Melvin t-shirts. Some had like Nirvana t-shirts on, so they're very grungy. The drummer was, he looked like Dimebag Darrell. Long, wavy, curly hair, tattoos all over him. He must have been like 18, and he's just covered in tattoos. He was so loud, his kit didn't need a mic. And I'm saying, can you stop hitting it? Can you turn down a little bit? And of course, there is no turn down for a drummer. There is no knob for them to fiddle apart from their own drumsticks. He didn't understand that him hitting the snare drum drowned out the guitar and drowned out the vocals. Not that you needed to hear the screaming vocals anyway, but in the end, I kid you not, they weren't even going through the PA. All the faders were off. And to spite that bastard, I put delay onto his kick drum and fed it back through his monitor. So every time it put him out of time. Not that it made any difference to their music. But yeah, they were assholes. And even the lady I worked with was like, oh God, you can do this sort of thing. Yeah. Pricks. But hey, you get that sometimes. Do you think BC Rich should re-release the Eagles? I do. With the crazy switches, I think the switches are overkill, but I like the shape of the Eagles. And like I said earlier, Pablo from Trivium had the Mockingbird and the Eagle, and I wanted both. So definitely, I'd like to see some more Eagles. Favorite CKY album? IDR. IDR was good. My favorite. I can listen to that non-stop. And I was impressed with the Phoenix, because you hear so many bands that split up and get back together. And it was nice that CKY, number one, reformed after the lead singer left, if you didn't know, and then made an album which sounded vaguely reminiscent of their other stuff, but still progressed the band. And not many bands can do that. So it was great to hear their new stuff. And I saw them in January, and I was so disappointed. I'm looking at the stage, and I'm going, okay, drum kit, guitar cab. Where's the bass cab? And then I remembered their bassist left the year before. So it was just Jess Margera and Chad Ginsberg playing with a backing track for bass. Oh man, I want to hear the bass. Yeah, I need to see them with a bass player. I'm happy to do it. Chad, Jess, I'm here. I'll do it, man. I'll be there. You call me. I'm right here. I will do it. Anytime. Have I tried an ESP? Once. I think it was a guitar though, not a bass. Aerosmith or Van Halen? That's tough. I had to be in the mood for rock music. So for me, I think Van Halen, because that's more reminiscent of 80s metal. And I like that sort of thing more than the rock aspect of it. Opinions on Rickenbackers? I think I said this earlier. I love them. I think they have a vintage sound. The price point hurts me though. £2,000? That's too much for a bass. so it's not really anything for me to think of. And also, I remember Geddy Lee. I mean, it's probably changed by now, but Geddy Lee would often say his Rickenbackers would break or wear out. But Lemmy never said that, and he played them for decades. So, you know, there's something about them. Trivium's new album. I need to listen to that. I love Trivium. I'm not the biggest Trivium fan, but I do love them. I used to say, people would ask me, what's your favorite album? And I go, I think the Ascendancy album is the best mixed album of the 20s. And I thought about it for a long time, and I listened to it recently. I was wrong. It's not. But I do love that album. Hello, The Real Ripper. Thank you for joining us. Van Halen. Yes, Chad and Jess. Noel Redding from Jimi Hendrix. Yes, that'd be good. And Dennis from Alice Cooper. Definitely, for sure. I got a story about Trivium. Actually, a couple of stories. When do I like Warwicks? I'd love to try them, for sure. When they came out in England, they sort of peaked around 2005, and they headlined the Download Festival, like at 11 o'clock or something. And I was there for that. And not long after that, they'd done some more follow-up gigs, and they wanted to sell out the Islington Academy, the Islington Club Academy, a very small club of like a couple of hundred people. And they went under the name Ember and the Infernos. And so it was like a secret gig. You had to know Ember and Infernos to get there. And I went, it was brilliant. Went outside, waiting in the cold for ages to meet them. And my friend's like, no, let's go. It's late. Let's go home. I was like, no, I want to stay and meet them. Anyway, I didn't. But then randomly, I had some guy on MySpace back in the day, right? And he said, I got 2 tickets to a Trivium recording performance at Maida Vale at the BBC. So does anyone want them? I was like, yeah, I'll go. So me and my friend, we went, and it was a meet and greet with Trivium, and they played a live set from Maida Vale, which is where the Beatles recorded, it's Abbey Road, but near Maida Vale, a famous BBC studio. So I met them there finally, and they were all cool guys, but Corey was weird. He was just like very glassy-eyed, just weird guy. Do I like Warwicks? Yes, I'd like to try them because Marco from Nightwish uses them. It's like, dude, if I can get that tone, awesome. Favorite Doom 2020 track? 2020? What am I thinking about? 2016. I don't know about the new. If you're talking about the game, I don't know, but the original soundtrack from the first game and the second game, yes. If you haven't heard before, the soundtrack for the game, they're all based on Metallica songs. The very first song is Master of Puppets, just reimagined. So yes, I love that. Your favorite string brand and gauges? I need to look this up to make sure I'm getting the right one. Did I say Ernie Ball? Ernie Ball regulars. Ernie Ball regulars, which are 50. They're not. Bass. I'll find it. They are 50 to 105, and I quite like them. They're good. I do need to try more strings. I've actually got DR Black Beauties, which are sitting upstairs with the rest of my gear, and I want to do a review on them. So I'm waiting to do the review, and I can try them out. And we'll see. No, your favorite? No, I thought it said suggestions. Am I a Prince fan? Yeah, I don't mind Prince. Thoughts on the band Carcass? Is that Carcass with a C or Carcass with a K? There's so many. No thoughts. Am I a Pistorius fan? I was for a little bit. I don't mind him, but I think the YouTuber CGP Grey put it succinctly, where he said, "Jazz is unorganized music," or something like that, and it doesn't help me concentrate. Music is it has beats and notes and repetitions and phrasing, and I like that. The same. I'm not really a fan of jazz, but I don't mind Weather Report now and again. They're pretty cool. The bass line in Sither, Gasoline. I haven't heard that song, but I do like Sither. Christopher, hey dude, how you doing? Who told you I was here? Oh no. Made of it, yep. My buddy there, Christopher, he and I went together to see Trivium. I still got my shirt. They're back at my parents' house, but I got it. The Prey Show, hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. Favorite film soundtrack? My favorite film soundtrack is Scarface. And I don't play out Scarface like some massive gangster film. I couldn't care less about Al Pacino's Scarface. The music, on the other hand, that is amazing. And that will bring me into a whole big tangent. If you guys remember, the soundtrack to Scarface was on GTA 3 on Flashback FM. So I heard all the songs there, and it's my 17th birthday, and one of my friends bought me the soundtrack, and I listened to it over and over and over, and I loved it, and I still do. And as a result of loving that 80s synthwave stuff, I listen to synthwave and retro synthwave, and that stuff helps me concentrate when I'm doing my videos to write scripts. So that's the only music I enjoy as a tool, which is interesting. Dream Head and Cab, Ampeg. I'm gonna go for classic, I think. I've tried an SBT, I think it was a 3. They were so heavy, and an 8x10. And I think Ampeg is the way to go for me. That's the classic time. Going to practice some drums before it gets too late. You do that, dude. Thank you very much. You take care, Dim. Thank you for dropping in, dude. Collab with Scott. Like I said about Davey, Davey 503, they're experts. I'm just some dude making videos. So I don't know what I could offer them, but yeah, if they want me, I'll be there. What do I think of Mr. Bungle? He was in the car earlier today when I went out shopping, and my fiance turned it off. So that's a no in this house. Ever listened to Apex Twin? Sometimes. Thoughts on Geddy Lee? Genius. You know, just, it's a bit like Guitar Hero, where if you have your friends playing, you have the guitar, the bass, and the drums. He's doing that with keyboards. He's got all his keyboards and the vocals and the bass. Genius. Favorite bass line? Suddenly Tragic. CKY. Love that. Trevor Dunn is a beast. Yes. He's crazy. If you've suggested anyone, I will look after the stream and make a note of that. So I'm going to start wrapping up very shortly. I'm sure you guys have got better things to do than to hang around here. It's been an hour and a half. Thank you, Modsleeks. God, me and my pronunciations, man. I get bad rap. Ever listen to the Charmeleons? No, but like I said, I will put it in the notes and do that. I don't know what it is with my musical taste. Thoughts on Gene Simmons? As a bassist, vanilla. Nothing to say. It's really funny. I remember reading interviews about James Hetfield and even Darren Miller from CKY saying, I love Kiss. Kiss is my favorite band. They influenced me, and they're the best. They're the best musicians. And when I go and listen to my idols, I don't get it. So I don't really understand. So on Gene Simmons as a bass player, no. It just doesn't work for me. As a businessman, hell yeah. Dude's on it, for sure. What else here? How long does it make you to make a full 2 videos? On average, 100 hours. 100 hours per video, which is why my videos are so far apart. And I said earlier in the stream, I used to just sort of look at pictures. But then I realized I want to be the definitive authoritative source about this information. So I need to do my homework and I need to get it right. And so, how do you know when the research is done? You read more books, you read more articles, you watch more videos. At what point do you draw a line? Okay, these are the facts. I just got to roll with that. So 100 hours. Can I sing and play bass? Depends on the song. Punk rock? Yeah, no problem. But anything else, probably not. Let's have a look at these questions here. I'll talk about my production cycle, if you like. For some people, if you're into YouTube yourself, if you're trying to make your own channel, you might be interested. I take a suggestion from you guys, which has been tallied, so I know who's popular. And that helps me knowing that there's probably information out there. So it's a good starting point. Do I feel burned out? Yeah, I'll come to that. Then I'll start with low-hanging fruit. What's the consensus so far? What does everybody agree on or say? So I go on places like TalkBass, and I will take note of everything people say, even if it's wrong. It doesn't matter if it's wrong at this point. I just need a note of what people have seen. And then I start digging. So, for example, with Geddy Lee, you'd say Geddy Lee Rickenbacker. So you try and find evidence to support Geddy Lee used a Rickenbacker. And then, like, someone said he has a precision. Okay, I need evidence for this. So you have to keep reiterating every search and everything. And then you'll find it branches out into more topics. You go, okay, Geddy Lee based in the 80s, Geddy Lee based in the 2000s. And of course, this just branches and branches and branches. And you need to know where to draw the line. So TalkBass is a resource for me. First-hand books, I don't use TalkBass as a source. I use it as a jumping off point because I would consider that second-hand information. I want first-hand information. I need to know it's correct. I need to see it for myself. I need to see a video or a picture. Some dude saying, oh, I saw it 10 years ago in an article in Bass Player Mag. That's not evidence. That's an anecdote. And that ain't good enough for me, right? I need definitive. So that's why I hate speculating. I only speculate sometimes when I can't bridge the gap between 2 points. So research, keep Googling, find the original source, find an author, find a writer. YouTube videos, I'm not exaggerating, for Motorhead, for Megadeth, I Googled Motorhead Live, 1980 something. Motorhead Live, 1991, 92, 93. I watched every Motorhead video to see if there was any change in the backline. And it seems tedious. It seems stupid. Like, why would you do that? Well, it made sense because in 2006, there was a video of him with an amp he used once, which was clearly a rental gear. But at least I can say, hey, one time in 2006, he used this weird Marshall that he's never used before, never seen since. And I can back that up. So it's all about keep looking, keep going. Filming, then I like writing. Writing's fun because at this point I have all of my facts. I know what I need to put across. Now it's just making a story. And that takes a while, but I enjoy it. I find that's the most creative process that I enjoy. Filming, I don't like filming. It takes a lot of energy to focus and perform in the right way. And you guys know I have a certain character when I perform, if you like, trying to make it up big and campy. Editing's easy. I like editing. It's pretty straightforward. You just get on with it. I know what I need to do. And then putting it out there, and it's out there for you guys. So 100 hours is the average for a video. The quickest was Justin Chancellor with 70 hours. I don't know why. I don't think I did enough research, but for some reason I managed to get all of the facts that I needed. And Peter Steele, which was about 74 hours, which I was surprised because I read a whole book. I read that biography book of his. And again, look through every YouTube video, which is what probably takes the most time. And that's that. Okay, let's finish up because it's been an hour and a half now. And I'm sure we'll have basses to play. Our instruments are missing us. Thoughts on Carol Kay? No thoughts. Another bass player I need to read up on. Do I feel burned out? Yeah, man. Watching YouTube, in my routine, I'll wake up early. I'll do like an hour and a half research before I go to my day job. In my lunchtime, I might do some work. I come home after work and I'll do another hour and a half of work, of research. So like every spare hour is dedicated to my project. And so, you know, when you've like watched dozens and dozens of YouTube videos, like, I'm just sick of this. So that's why there's a gap, because sometimes after my video, I'll probably have like a week binge on video games or something, and it can turn into a month if I'm not careful. So yeah, burnout is a thing, and it sucks. I would love to do this again, Henry. I hope you guys can join me next time as well. It's really nice to see you guys all here. Congratulations, Alfred Kong. Nice to see you, dude. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for the recommendation. I really appreciate it. Thank you, dude. Nice to see you. Thoughts on BC Rich? Yeah, I want to try BC Rich for sure. Like I said earlier, I like the Mockingbird. I like the look of the Mockingbird and the Eagle, and they seem to be my sort of tone. So I'd like to try them. Thank you, Lord Billings. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you, Drew. That's great. Thank you for joining in. So I'll finish up, round off the video. I'm working on a video for Ghost, right? This video will be completely left field. This is it's unprecedented on my channel, and I can't really tell you anymore. It will have to be a secret because it's nuts. And then after that, there's a follow-up video where I'll go into a lot more detail about this Ghost video, because I have gone down some rabbit holes, dude. You think Ghost would be easy? It is a minefield of rabbit holes. You won't believe it. So I'm nearly done on the Ghost video. The script is done. I'm going through it, combing it, and it shouldn't take much longer to do. It won't be a live action one. It'll all be voiceover. So hopefully the turnaround will be a lot quicker. Already that's gone to like 70 hours of work. So whew, I'm getting there. All right, let's wrap this up, I think. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Droid. Thank you, Bodan. Thank you so much for joining me. Greetings to Denmark. I hope you guys are safe out there. Thank you, Freedom Solosa. And Andrew, Ghost is awesome. Pinnacle to the Pit is the first bass line I learned. Really? That is a good bass line. That's a good bass line. I enjoy Ghost. And I'll go into that in the videos, a bit more about Ghost. Thank you, Sonic Jane. All of you guys that have dropped by, thank you for subscribing. Like I said, there's going to be loads more content coming out. All of these requests that you've asked for, I will get to one day. You know, there's only one of me. I do this in my spare time. There's only enough hours in the day to do what I need to do and balance a real world life, relationships, a job, and all that stuff. It's a lot of work, but we'll get there. So keep bugging me. If you haven't seen the bass player you want, bug me. Keep telling me, and I will make more effort. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you so much. Here's to the next 20K. Amazing. I remember when it was 20. So, you know, it means a lot to me. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Just to know you guys are interested in a hobby, right? Just something I do in my spare time. So that means a lot. Thank you so much for joining me. Every one of you guys who dropped by, I appreciate that. And I hope I do your bass player. I hope, you know, I can just do that for you and get something out there that you want to see. And like I said, don't stop bugging me. Tell me. Tell me. Hello, Chili. Diego, hey, dude. Matt Freeman, he's high on the list. He's like top 10. Thank you, Andrew. Belly up. I will do that. I'll put that on the list. Thank you. Yes. All right, guys and girls. I hope you have a lovely evening. Again, thank you sincerely for joining me. This is my first live stream, and hopefully it won't end up on Reddit live stream fails. I had some fun. Yeah, we'll have some fun. And we'll do it again. We'll do it again at some point. I hope you guys had some fun. There's plenty more I could talk about. And I have a bunch of questions I haven't even got to. So there's always next time. Alice in Chains, yes, on the list for sure. Thank you, Adam. Thanks for joining me. All right. I'm going to go through the chat and I'll take out all of these suggestions. And I feel like I'm just repeating myself now. So thank you again, guys. Stay safe out there. Don't put yourself at risk. Go and play some bass, right? Play some bass. Be productive. Don't just chill out on Netflix. Netflix is no good. You know, once you watch Tiger King, it's turtles all the way down. Go and play bass. Thank you, Martin. Right. I'm going to leave it there. Otherwise, I'm just going to babble on. Thank you again, guys. Thank you for the 20,000 subs. I'll see you again with the Ghost video. And 40,000, 50,000. And we'll do that. Royal Blood. Yes, it's on the list. You're not bothering me, Drew. It's on there. You guys take care out there. Thank you, Martin. Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrew. You know, hit me up in the comments. I'll be there. Hit me up on Twitter, at Alfie Williams UK. And we have a chat. You can tell me the bass players I need to listen to. All right, guys and girls. You take care out there. I will see you next time. All the best. Thank you, Rattlesnake. Take care, dude.